Alright guys, so this is a team that I use for the union bosses, mainly because it really works out for me. Um, Mind you, there is some RNG involved, so be very careful. Um, but hopefully this team does help you guys out, because it's honestly the only team I use for any of the union bosses. Um, I'm starting off with Lily because she is my fastest at 346. Um, Reason being because her S2, it applies Twin Trick to my DPS and increases the speed for all the allies, all my units, but it increases the crit damage instead to the DPS that has Twin Trick. Um, Her S3, it resets all the skill cooldowns and the animus not animus, sorry, the shells cooldowns for the DPS that has Twin Trick. So that is a really good skill. And it immediately allows the unit to take a turn. So her S1, it allows for the DPS to do a follow-up attack when she uses her S1. So that's really good because it does more damage to the boss, and it just lets my DPS just finish the boss instantly. Not instantly, but it allows them to finish it. And then Plume, I have her because one, her S3 dispels. It applies a weakness, which reduces the damage dealt by an additional 25% from the boss. So he's going to do 25% less damage. Her passive, Curse Quill, whenever there's a stack on it, it stacks up to 10 stacks. Each stack provides an additional damage taken by 6% and reduces speed by 3. So that's 30 minus speed. That's honestly really good. And 60% damage taken. So that's good. Her S1, it just applies a Curse Quill, so I don't really need to show it. Freya is basically my anchor. She is the anvil of this team, mainly being because her S2, whenever a unit has Dreamwave, any debuff that is applied to them when they have it, it gets purified. So they are going to be free from getting petrified, stunned, freeze, so on and so forth, right? And her dream guide, whenever an ally gets a buff, their turn meter gets increased, and whenever an enemy gets a debuff, their turn meter gets decreased. Her S3, she applies an attack buff to everyone and a nightmare debuff to the enemy, which increases their damage taken by 12%. And whenever the attacker attacks, they get healed for a certain amount, which is 12%. So that's really good. She's basically my healer in this team. My healer slash, I guess, debuffer as well. Healer, think of her as Doki Doki, Ling Lo, basically any healer you can think of all in one, for this team at least. Her S2 also applies a defense up for our allies, for her allies. So that's really good, really good increased sustainability. For shells, I have her on Artisan. I wanted to point this out because it really does increase their survivability by a lot. Claus is another one that has Artisan, mainly because having two Artisans really does increase their sustainability, their chances of surviving, and making sure that the DPS finishes off the boss. So after that, I have Klaus at 299. She is another debuffer. Her hack in progress, once you have 3 stacks on the boss, it turns into hacking. It increases the damage taken by 35% and decreases damage dealt by 45%, which is really good, increasing with 25% from Plume's weakness. So that's what, 70? Yeah, 70. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then the damage taken increased by 35% with everything else that's already applied, even better. And her S3 also applies a defense down and a speed down. The only thing Plume applies is a defense down. So having a speed down is really good, and just to secure a speed down just in case we need it, right? So her S2, whenever the boss has a hack in progress or hack in. It has a chance of stealing his combat or turn meter and redistributing it amongst allies. So that's really, really good, allowing for more turns from my team and more damage from the DPS. So that's, yeah, she's a really good helper there. And obviously Mr. Bornova, the whole reason why it's Bornova and Friends. This dude with his festering, he does a ton of damage. Every stack increases the it deals an additional damage by 40% of his attack. So if he has a pretty good amount of attack, it'll do a decent amount. And the damage multiplier is increased by 30%. That's pretty much it. Honestly, it doesn't really change. Yeah, and it stacks up to 30%. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that. So yeah, his S2 also does apply a vulnerable, so it increases the damage taken by 30%. So do the math. I mean, 30%, 35%, and then 60% because of the curse quills. It's like more than 100%. So that's a lot of damage. That's why this team works way too well. So yeah, the imprint, I'm pretty sure I should mention this as well. I have him on Butcher mainly because whenever he's gonna take a turn, his damage is gonna be increased by 8% whenever he's at full health. Everyone else just has Gladiator, mainly because this is the only one that has the speed, double speed, and it's like my best one right now. So yeah, so pretty much everyone else has it. just mentioning that before I end this, so you guys can see how this team works with every other boss, or with all the bosses. So hopefully this guide helped you guys out. I really do appreciate you guys watching my videos. So yeah, and hopefully it's helpful. If it's helpful, let me know. If it's not, let me know as well, so I can hopefully find a team that works better for you guys. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it.